Hello and welcome to Saguaro National Park here in the Sonoran Desert. And you can see here all these this beautiful desert around us. A bunch of there's some deflation hollows over there. A huge rock pedestal right above it and a smaller rock pedestal here and a bunch of sand dunes all around us everywhere here. But that's not what we came here to see at the moment. What we came here to see is our newest guest village at Saguaro National Park. And what better way to spend your night here or your day at Saguaro National Park than at Bub Guest Village? Isn't this a nice guest village, Wolfie Wack?
This is the greatest village I've ever been to.
Right, so we're gonna be giving you guys a tour of the village, but before we go inside, we have a couple rules we have to follow so that we keep the wildlife safe, right?
Yes, we do. And some of the rules that we have are please do not touch the pets or the animals that are roaming around in this village, as as these can disrupt them and kind of will let them come close to you. And please do not feed on any of the animals. And these two are important because for the food web, and so that we don't disturb their ecosystem in the way that we treat them, so that they can live out their ways and their lifestyle that they have been taught. Please do not bring any outside pests, as this can make the animals inside here invasive. Please leave trash in designated areas. We have some trash bins and compost and recycling bins that you may use. And first and the most important, or some of the important, is please do not destroy any plant or vegetation, as some of the plant and vegetation here can be used to provide for the animals. And failing to comply with any of these rules will cause a fine of $2,000. Am I right?
Yeah, lengthy fine. So you better watch out for these rules so we don't really disturb the ecosystem here in the food web for these animals, which you can see on screen. It's a pretty interesting food web for the desert. We have, if you notice throughout the tour, you can see some of the animals around us as we walk around. But let's get to the village, which is what we came here to see. And you can see here as we cross into the parking lot, I say the first thing we should show our people are the sustainable technologies used in each one of our houses. Um,
Indeed.
so let's go ahead and go to our first house, and it's starting to get a bit dark, Wilfy Wack. Can you go turn on the lights over there, the windmills?
I'll be right back.
All right, so Wilfy Wack is gonna go turn on the windmills over there, which you can see in the distance if we go inside this house. Um, and over right there, and the windmills are now on. Well, they've been on, but we're starting the power now, and now the lights are on in the houses. So let's go ahead and start going over sustainable technologies used in each of our houses, because we need to make sure that your stay here does not affect the environment in a bad way. So one of our first really good sustainable technologies is this low E4 glass. So this glass, it rates very well on the solar heat gain coefficient stuff. And basically what this means is that it allows less heat inside. So it'll allow light inside, the windows, but it does not allow a lot of the heat that the sun makes, into the house. And this will make sure we don't have to keep using AC to keep cooling the house. And this also allows us, for our second sustainable technology in our houses, to have tons of windows around here to let in a lot of lights. So during the day, you really don't need these lights on at all, because there's just so many windows in each house in this Bub guest village that you really, yeah, it really helps. Our third sustainable technology in these houses is that, if you notice, these houses are made out of sand bricks. And so basically what this means is that bricks really have been known to be really sustainable building materials, because they can use the resources around you. And here there's a bunch of sand. And so you make these bricks with the sand, and we have systems to make sure they're very strong. And another plus of it is that the sand bricks, well, they're light. So they will reflect most heat instead of absorbing a lot of heat like their counterpart red bricks would do. Which is good, You need lighter buildings here. A fourth sustainable technology here is we have fluorescent lighting. So you noticed Wolfie Wack went and turned on the power so that everyone would have lights. And these lights are fluorescent lights, so that their fluorescent lights are just well known to use less energy and to be quite sustainable. And and our final sustainable technology thing here, the fifth sustainable thing used in our houses are UV curtains here, so that during the day, if there gets a lot of sun, you can pull these curtains in, and they not only block some of the light in case you want it to be a bit darker, but they also will block out a lot of the sun's harmful rays. So that is a pretty good thing, I think, Wolfie Whack, isn't it?
Yes, it truly is. This makes it eco-friendly and makes it easier for people to stay and for the animals around. Now, we're going to get on to our energy sources, and one of them that we use for lighting up our houses would be our windmills. Is that correct?
It is correct. And over here you can see not one windmill, not two windmills, but three windmills over there in the distance, sat atop of a very large rock pedestal so that they can really get all the height they need. And these windmills are always running, but they will be storing their energy for night use because we don't really need a lot of, at least for lights. Lights don't really need during the night, but there are other electricity things around here. So definitely the windmills will provide quite a lot of power. But if we use our flying abilities here, we can also see that there are some solar panels on the top of every single house. 10 houses here, by the way, Wilfie Wack. Is that right?
Indeed. It's been, yes. So since we have talked about the energy sources, we also have solar panels above our houses that we use to collect energy from the sun, and distribute them to our houses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna move on to our water sources. As you would follow me to this one water tower here, we have our reclaimed water system that comes from each of these houses and then goes through this filtration system and then into this water tank. What we will also implement with this water tank is our rainwater. As it rains in the desert, sometimes it will collect some water and then store them here. But if you move on to the middle of the village, we have this small well, and this actually uses up groundwater in which we will distribute. And all of this water can be used again for the houses or for our garden in here, in which we have potatoes and carrots, as we have researched and found out that those are the most efficient and significant to our desert ecosystem. And if we move on to this side, away from the village, we can also see our waste management system that we have, which is our covered landfill as we have finished, and our incinerator that we have done. We chose incinerators than the landfills, but the incinerator is a lot more helpful and eco-friendly, as this will not contaminate the dirt or like spread anything around it, as this will completely burn and incinerate everything that goes into it, any like unrecyclable trash or anything that we don't need. And if we go to the village, we can also see some around the houses, some recycling bins and such, so that you can recycle everything you need. And inside the gardens are some compost bins for everything that you will need. And what do you talk about our heating and cooling system, as sometimes it does get a bit like this during the desert and how hot it is?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I go talk about our heating and cooling systems. You can see here as we pass a couple strategically placed recycling bins over here for people to store their recyclable materials. We're gonna go behind this house over here and underground to show you guys one of our really a state-of-the-art heating system. The heating systems we use here, a heating and cooling system, it's called a central heat system, and it uses heat pumps. And basically what these heat pumps do is they work both ways. During the summer, and when it's hot outside, usually during the day, it will absorb the heat from inside and pump it out into the ground outside, so that it will keep the inside cool, transferring all of that heat outside. But during the winter, when it can be quite cold, and also during the night here in the desert, it can get quite cold as well. During the day it can be hot, during the night it could be cold. Quite drastic temperatures here. But when it's cold, this heat pump will reverse the trick, and it will, instead of taking heat from the house, moving it outside, it will absorb heat from the ground outside and bring it inside, so that we can salvage as much heat as we can. And it really works quite well. And these heat pumps, they use electricity, so the sun, the solar panels, and the windmills power these quite well. But our other cooling system that we have, because usually it does get, it's usually hotter than it is cold here in the desert, is we have this very sustainable, one of the newest technologies around here, an ice air conditioning system. Whereas basically, there's an ice block inside, and during the night, what happens is the ice, it makes ice. These air conditioning systems will make ice during the night using colder temperatures from outside and just in general. It will make ice, but then during the day, when it starts to get a bit hotter, when it starts to warm up, this ice will start to melt. And what happens is there is a fan that will blow the cold air from the melting ice around the house. And it really almost uses no electricity at all. And it's actually very, very sustainable. So it's quite a good thing. And it really is a really good green technology here. So yeah.
Uh, so yes, this has been implemented in all the houses so that they get the max efficiency for heating and cooling. We've also talked about our landscaping as we've seen many rock pedestals, sand dunes, and deflation hollows, and as well as our food resources. We have talked about our species protections, as in the entrance we talked about the rules. But now we will move on to our transportation. So if you will follow me throughout these roads that we have made it to our little rental car booth that that are solar panel. I mean solar charged. So all of these cars are solar charged, and that they use solar panels to make them work throughout the day, and they store up the energy. But let's say you are coming for the first time. So if you would like to rent out a car, but if you were single, you would have to pay $350 for a single. And note that the rental cars are a lot larger, so they will cost more for more family members. So the price we have said for rental cars for families are $1,000.
Hmm. And another point we want to make is you can see here these charging stations. During the night, when most of these cars will be parked, they will also be charging, so they'll have some extra batteries as well. Very, very, very efficient transportation systems here. And I think that is everything that we have to show you guys at the moment. And it is starting to become daytime once again. And we'd like to thank you guys for coming on this tour with us. We really encourage you guys to really think about coming here to this newest guest village of ours, because really, Wilfiwak, what better way is there to spend your time here at Saguaro National Park than at our guest village to see everything around us and this really efficient and very sustainable guest village we have here. So thank you guys for listening to our tour, and yeah, we'll see you guys. Hopefully, we'll see you guys here one day. Goodbye.